Hi, welcome to this video, and this is a full review of my 1930s Grigsby Grunow Majestic speaker. Um, this speaker is called a field coil speaker, and it has 2.5K resistance across the field coil, and I'm powering it at around 35 volts, but you can power it um, with a range of voltages, probably from 10 volts to 40 volts maybe. Um, so this is a speaker from a radio from the 1930s, and I got it on eBay. I would say it weighs maybe 40 pounds. It's 10 inches across. It's very solidly built. You can see that I've done a few repairs and a few modifications to it. There's different versions of this speaker. You can find them on eBay. This is I believe this is leather. Yeah, it must be leather, because they probably didn't even have fake leather back then. So this is black leather right here. I think this is why this particular speaker lasts longer than some of the other ones, because it's got the black leather. If you look at some other versions of this the Majestic speaker, it's just got the gray material all the way to the edge, and with sort of the wrinkles around the edges there, like a lot of modern speakers. Um, so anyways, let's go around the speaker, maybe spin it around, and you can see the backside. You can see that I have some wiring here. This is not the original wiring. This box, I just added this box a couple days ago. So I'm going to flip it around the other side because the wires are in the way, so I'll flip it this way. So you can see how massive this speaker is. It's got this massive bass, and this little transformer in here is one of the modifications that I did to the speaker. This little transformer takes the 500 ohm output of my Hallicrafters SX25, and it transforms it to 16 ohms to go into this speaker. I haven't taken apart this part. It looks like this is wood right here, but it's painted. So this is metal here. This is a little wood. Looks like it's a chunk of plywood, but it's been painted silver to match this. It's a very rough casting. This is a very rough casting. You can see it's got cracks in it and stuff. Here you can see the Majestic label. It says Majestic Super Dynamic Speaker Model G3, Grigsby Grunow Company, Chicago, USA. For use with receiver chassis model number 90 and 100, patent pending, and then there's a serial number. So you can see it's pretty heavy duty. Here's the side view. You can see the cone, the back of the cone. So here's a nice front side view. This is a unique speaker in that you can pretty much take it apart. It's pretty easy to take apart. So you can undo this metal screw here, and then you can take all of these outer screws off, and the cone comes out. And there's a couple of staples right here, and the wires go right into this part of the cone. And as you can see, that was my bad. There was a slight tear right there, so I used silk to repair that. The speaker is from the 1930s, so that makes it almost 90 years old. That's pretty amazing that it's 90 years old. I'll show you, I'll touch you can see that this is still holding up. The cone is still holding up. It's made out of a fabric coated with some sort of coating. Originally, when I got the speaker, you can see there was cracks right here. And what I did was I put this same silk fabric on the other side, on the back side of the cone. And this little glue is called barge contact cement. It's really heavy duty contact cement, barge. And when you put the barge on, it's almost like it's a very, very strong glue. It's probably the strongest contact cement on the market. It's so strong that it's used for shoe repairs. So it's basically when you glue barge, you almost can't pull it apart with your bare hands. It's that strong. So I just put a light coating of barge on here, and then I coated the silk with barge, and I stuck it on with barge. Here's some Krylon UV coating. So I coated the entire speaker on both sides with UV coating. And this is hopefully to try to protect the speaker so that it lasts another 50 years. So that it has less damage from UV and less damage from atmospheric air, exposure to the air. So hopefully it'll last a lot longer. I'm going to tell you about the sound of these speakers. That's a lot different from a speaker that you'll hear these days. How would I describe the sound of these speakers? It's a little bit different than what you normally hear nowadays. Um, I would say that it feels more like it feels like more, um, the audio, I'm trying to describe the audio coming from the speaker as compared to like a regular non-powered speaker. Um, and I would say that it feels like there's force behind the sound. Like it definitely feels more like there's force behind the sound. So there's a more direct feeling of sound than from a regular speaker. Here's the two power connectors right here, and this is 2.5K resistance across these power connectors. And I put two banana plug leads so that it's easy to connect my power supply to this speaker. But right now I just have um, these sort of pinch connectors in here. But um, in the future I'm going to use banana plugs on there. I have the 1/4 inch jack here, and this is coming directly from my Hallicrafters SX25. It's 500 ohm input. This input is going into the transformer, and it's being output at 16 ohms, and that's 16 ohms is going to the cone. For here, I want to have a direct input, so that like a direct 16 ohm input. I'm not sure if I have to add a switch for that to work at this point. So the transformer is mounted with two little screws and bolts. I had to drill some holes. I had to drill some holes to mount this thing. It was also kind of tricky because you don't want to get any kind of metal shavings into the middle of the cone. Um, the speaker you can pick up for maybe $50 on eBay. That's what I paid, $50. Um, I was lucky enough to get one in usable condition. If you get one of these, you'll probably have to repair the cone. Or even maybe put in a new cone altogether. If you're going to do this job, it's probably not a terrible job because these speakers are so easy to work on. I would suggest the barge glue. I'll show you the barge glue. Here's the barge glue. It's not your typical Home Depot glue. It's what shoemakers use, and it's really strong, and it's a little bit more pricey than what you would get at Home Depot. The one benefit of this glue is that, aside from being an excellent glue, it's a little bit pricey, and what you don't want is it to dry out at all, because, so what you need to do is you need to tighten the glue up really tight, and then you need to, I actually put a little bit of silicone around the edge just to seal the lid on. That's a really handy tip. Just add a little bit of silicone sealant around the top just to seal it. I also have like toner, like ink for my printer, and that's a really handy tip if you've got like bottles of ink for your printer. If you really want to seal those, so do the same thing. Add a little silicone around the top, and that way if they're on a shelf for like a couple months or even a year, you're not going to worry that your ink is going to dry out. Okay, I'm back. So anyways, I'm going to add some bonus material in. This is the bonus material for my loyal viewers and my loyal subscribers. So for my loyal viewers and loyal subscribers, they know that from watching my videos that I'm kind of an eBay hunter. And so this little bonus material, and it's a little promo, so it's going to show you what you're going to see in upcoming videos, okay? So here's something that'll blow your mind. This is a TV broadcast lens. And so I'm going to maybe do a video on that as well, because I just picked this up and I've already done a little bit of work on it. And yeah, so that's a TV broadcast lens made by Schneider from the, I don't know what it is, from the 70s maybe? So there it is. That's a little bit of bonus material for you from my eBay finds. Not only that, but here's a little bit more bonus material. Lens number 2, Schneider, made in Germany. It's the same company that made that other lens. And this, so that's a little bit of bonus material. I'm going to go into more depth on these lenses. And I've got a third one coming. That's, I believe it's a 240. It's a longer lens, it goes to 240. So, and these ones are actually macro lenses as well. This one actually goes all the way down to 9. So it's a real wide angle lens. And the other one goes to, this one goes down to 6.5. So anyways, that's a little bit of bonus material for you for 2001, so you can see what is going to be upcoming. So anyways, I believe those mounts for those lenses are called a B4 mount, and I don't even have a B4 camera, but here's another little surprise for 2021 is that I plan on getting a Blackmagic camera. I'm just not sure which model I'm going to get, but it's going to, I have been looking at cameras, and the Blackmagic seems to be the best one of the new cameras because it's got the global shutter. Like some of the models have global shutter, which is amazing, and they have really excellent color, and they have really excellent wide dynamic range. So Blackmagic is going to be on the way in 2021. And I'm going to get a mount for those lenses. I believe it's, depending on which Blackmagic camera, it's going to be either a Canon E mount to a B4 adapter that I'm going to have to get, or I think it's a micro four thirds to B4 adapter, so that I can mount those lenses on my Blackmagic. And I'm also going to have some sort of rig because those lenses are pretty darn heavy. And all of the electronic zoom, those actually lenses have electronic zoom, so that's another problem puzzle. I'm going to have to figure it out. I'm going to have to use them either all fully manually, or maybe I can rig up some sort of power to power the motor zoom on it, which would be cool because you could probably do it a little bit like with a little remote control, wired remote control. So anyways, back to the speaker. So I actually have it connected to my radio, so I'll play a little bit of audio through it. So yeah, I apologize for the Indian music because I have a multiband radio, and it has AM and I don't have a lot of selection of music. Plus, I think this Indian music is pretty much copyright free. So you can hear it. The sound is it feels very direct. And it feels like that's all I can say is that it feels really direct. Much more direct than through a non-powered speaker. So anyways, I really like the audio of these speakers, and I plan to do a couple more modifications. One modification is to add an input to my tube radio. Oh, by the way, the audio that's coming out of here is from a tube radio. So it's very vintage on vintage. It's a tube radio from the 1940s, and this is a speaker from the 1930s. So this is a real sort of a time travel right here. I don't know, I find it much more soothing. The tube radio combined with the field coil speaker, it's a very soothing audio. I find the audio very soothing. I'll put the mic right up to the speaker. I'm also going to show you that this speaker goes very, very loud. And it's still, the tone is really nice. Even though it goes loud, the tone still stays really nice. So I think this speaker really adds like a nice ambience to the audio. So yeah, I definitely think that if you're sort of looking for something different in audio, definitely check out field coil speakers. And I think they're getting really popular now because these Grigsby Grunow ones are still, there's a bunch of them that are relatively inexpensive that you can still find on eBay. But they might have to be reconed. I would say that the majority of them are paper cones, and the Grigsby Grunow kind of stand out because they have the fabric cones, and then there's the European ones. There's European field coil speakers, and they have different resistance across the field coil, and the lower resistance speakers can be powered by a battery. So they have these field coil speakers. You can see them online. There's some on YouTube, and they have a lower resistance on the field coil, like 1,000 ohms, and you can power them by like a 12-volt battery or a 9-volt battery. And so you can just imagine back in the day that in the 30s they actually powered these speakers on batteries. So it was really kind of unique, and so it's really quite an interesting and unique speaker. I love the sound. I love the direct tone. You immediately notice the directness of the speaker as compared to a conventional, like what we consider conventional. It used to be conventional back in the 1930s, but this is the way it used to be. And but you'll really notice a difference if you get one of these field coil speakers. You'll immediately notice the difference, that it's a more direct sound. And so I think it's an excellent addition to my hobbies, and there's no more modifications that I tend to really make on the speaker. There are more expensive field coil speakers out there. There's you can find them. They range all the way up to like $3,000, and there's speakers that you can. I think there's one company called Klang Film, and there's a guy on YouTube from Germany, and he has some videos of his Klang Film speakers that are field coil, and they're massive. Some of them are the cone is completely made out of leather, and they're really interesting looking speakers. So I'm really surprised that you don't see field coil speakers around today, like even in the high-end audio field. I'm very, very surprised that you don't see it. I guess people don't like the direct sound. I love the direct sound, but anyways, so I appreciate your questions, and thanks for watching the video. I was able to get it to work with some more, some just regular computer audio through my RME sound card. It's actually coming through the headphone jack. This audio is coming out of the headphone jack of my Soundcraft mixing board. So it can't get very loud, even if I have 35 volts going through. It's not a very loud signal, so it's certainly not as loud as through my Helicrafters. So anyways, have a listen. This is more digital audio from my computer. So you can see the audio is definitely not as nice as through the tube sound, at least in my opinion. It sounds it doesn't sound as punchy and crisp as through the tubes of the my old radio from 1941. But I just thought I'd add that at the end of the video. Thanks for watching.